Hello, and welcome to our YouTube channel and the East Coast Keto Test Kitchen. I'm Bobbi.
And I'm not Bobbi. I'm Geoff.
And together we are East Coast Keto. Honest to God. Do you see what I have to put up with? Okay, so fat bombs. We all know as ketonians how important getting those healthy fats in are. And, you know, one of the things that I say to brand new people who are starting keto is it's not about jamming the fat down into your belly and trying to drink bacon juice or any of that stuff. It's more about knowing that if you're hungry, the fat is what cures your hunger. And if you incorporate healthy fats into every meal, you're going to do well. So
it goes back to if you want to cure obesity, cure hunger.
And you cure hunger by healthy fats.
Healthy fats.
So let's get started.
This is a recipe off our website.
It is.
EastCoastKeto.com.
We have we're going to slightly change it today because, well, number one, I'm working with a double quantity. And number two, instead of pouring it into the silicone mold, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and put it in the fridge and chill it from there. And then we're going to take it and scoop out the individual fat bombs and put them right into little cupcake liners. Are you ready to roll? Right? No soup for you.
I'm all ready.
All right, so let's get cracking.
All right.
We're ready to roll. So we're working with the induction burner again today. So let us turn that on, and I am going to get everything set up. And we're working with a 350 today. So the first thing we have here, young fella, is the website says 2 tablespoons of butter, but we're going to go with
We got 4.
4.
Which
just
is
because,
essentially half a cup.
Yep. Let's get that out of the way.
15 mils in a tablespoon and 60 in a quarter cup.
What would I do without you?
There you go.
So I'm just going to give this a second and let this melt. And in the meantime, why don't we switch views? So instead of looking at me, you're not here to see me, you're here to see this. We'll do a close-up on what's happening in the pan. And that way you can see what we're cooking.
All right.
All right. Alrighty, so our butter is melted. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our whipping cream. And we have a half a cup of whipping cream. Now I'm going to turn that temperature back just a little tiny bit because the butter is melted, and that's going to be the main thing now that we're going to want to do with the higher temperature. So we're at 250 now. I'm going to make sure I get out all of that whipping cream. As Nan would have said, waste not, want not. And we're also going to put in cream cheese. Now the recipe calls for 4 ounces, but we are putting in 8 ounces of cream cheese. And
it's basically a full package.
Which is a full package of like a Philly or a Compliments brand or whatever type of cream cheese that you're using.
Full fat, not the light.
Make sure you don't use the light. And we're going to switch back to our whisk, and we're going to get that whisked away. Alright, so whisk until smooth. So let's give this a minute here now, and I'm going to turn her back up again. And we're going to get that going. And whisk that in. I used the whisk to break up some of the bigger pieces of the cream cheese. Smell it. Well, we're at the point now with our keto that sweetener is optional, and we could eat this as it is here now and not even worry about there not being any sweetener in there. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's the fatty, cheesy, goodness.
Unctuous, yummy. I know a couple of weeks ago we didn't have any fat bombs available, so what we did was we just opened up a pack of Philly cheese and spooned off a couple of teaspoons each, and we were quite happy with that. Okay, so we're starting to get to the place now where everything is getting all mixed in, and with that I'm going to reach over and I'm going to grab our stevia. And the recipe calls for 3 packets of stevia, but we're doubling here, so what I have is a quarter cup of, is actually Swerve that I'm using. So really any keto approved sweetener. I'm going to turn that back down again because as you can see she's going to a rapid boil. Let's go off the burner for just a second here.
Now,
Sorry about the beeps, but that is an induction burner.
now that was the swerve that we bought was granulated, and we put it through the bullet and turned it into confectioners.
Exactly. All right, so I'm going to reach down and turn off that induction burner and that nasty beep, and I'm going to... induction burners are great because as soon as you turn them off, the heat goes away, and there's no such thing as, you know, the heat staying on. So we are fully incorporated here. So the next thing we need is some vanilla. Now, there's two ways you can go. I have some pure vanilla extract here, and we also have some vanilla beans. Now, these guys I treat like gold, and I only use these for recipes that are tried and true, and ones that I know I'm not going to have a flop. And other than that, oh, they smell like absolute heaven. So anyway, I'm going to tuck those aside for a special rainy day. Our recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Because we've doubled, I'm going to put in 2. There's the 1. There's the 2, and there's a little bit for good measure, just because
You like good measure.
As Jeff says, I'm as wild as a goat. Perfect. And last but not least, we have what should be 6 raspberries, but we're doubling our recipe today, so we're going to put in 12. Now these have already been chopped. They're ready to go.
And come in and have a look.
Perfect.
Here.
And last but not least, we have, as always with all of our sweet recipes, we put a little tiny bit of salt in just to help with boosting those flavors. I'm going to get our whisk out of the way. I'm not going to take that too far because I'm sure there's going to be some of our crew that's going to want to have a taste. So we're off our heat, and I'm just stirring all that together to slowly but surely incorporate everything. Now the recipe says to take it and to spoon this into molds, but at this stage of the game what I'm going to do is, because we're going to step outside of the recipe, I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it in the fridge just as it is and let it cool, and from there we're going to use our mini ice cream scoop, and we are going to scoop it into muffin liners. So here we are, here's our concoction. And I'll tell you what, if that didn't burn the tongue off me, I could eat that up with a spoon right now because that smells so good. But we are done for now, so we will be back when that has a chance to chill in the refrigerator, probably around 3 hours time. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to do a taste test then, even before we scoop it up. So here we are, going to the fridge. Do you want to follow me over there, Mr. Cameraman? All right, so we're going to open up our fridge. We're going to pop this in here, and we'll see you in around 3 hours. And we're back. We just took our vanilla raspberry fat bombs out of the fridge. Now, if you put them in a silicone mold, I'll recommend that you put them in the freezer instead of the fridge, because if you don't, what's going to happen is they're really going to, even though it's silicone, it's really going to stick on. But when you stick it in the freezer, it just turns them into little solid little fat bombs, and that way you can just pop them out. So we're ready to go here. We got a bunch of little mini cupcake things, liners, and a little trick that I do with that before I try to separate them is I just kind of run my finger right along the edge of them to separate them a little bit, because they pack them in there pretty tight. So I'll take a couple of those out. There you go, making sure I'm going into the same area there that I have separated, because elsewhere they're still stuck right together. Perfect. And I'm going to go in with my little scoop. There is my fat bombs set up quite lovely. And I am just going to go in and take a blob and scoop that right on out like that. So those can go either back into the fridge or the freezer, whatever is your jam.
Jam's not keto.
Jam is not keto, exactly. So Mr. Cameraman, why don't you come around the back way and see if we can get you to do a taste test.
All right.
Any takers? So these are going to give you your berries in moderation, and they're also going to give you lots of healthy fats. And where do you want it, young fella?
What do you got on the go?
This is it. All right, I will give you that one, sir, fresh from. So these are really soft fat bombs, and like I say, if you want to put them in the freezer, that's where they're going to firm up. But bottoms up.
Oh my.
How's the sweetness level for you?
Very tasty.
Very tasty. Yum. So that's it in a nutshell. You can substitute any other type of berry. You can do baked apples, which is a part of the raspberry family. You can do strawberry, you can do blueberry. And I'm looking down on the floor and we already have an assistant.
We have our blueberry.
Bring her over. We have our little assistant who is very anxious to try our keto puppy friendly. Let's do a taste test with you. Oh, that is keto dog approved. So that's it. We're going to sign off for now. Thank you for being such a good taste tester. And we'll be back with another video soon.
Bye.
Bye.